What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Big Fry here, and I'm bringing you my thoughts on Destiny. This is my first impressions slash my hands on. I put around 9 to 10 hours into the game so far. I think I'm gonna get a lot of flack for what I'm about to say. I'm torn because there are features that I love about Destiny, and there are features and mechanics that I absolutely fucking despise about Destiny. So I'm going to break down my thoughts in this video and hopefully express them in a reasonable, mature manner. The reason I didn't want to make this video is because I saw some tweets the other day from some guys that I've been following for quite a long time. They said that if you hate Destiny, you're obviously a Call of Duty fanboy, or you don't like good games, and that's fucking bullshit. I think in my case, I hate Destiny more than I love it, which gives me kind of a mediocre feel about it. It kind of balances out it. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not a COD fanboy. Haven't been since Modern Warfare launched on the PS3 and Xbox 360 way back when. I think it was 2007. I don't enjoy playing bad games. That's why I do this. I enjoy having fun. Basically, that's all I do. If I'm having fun, it's a good game. I enjoy what I enjoy. So being a shooter primarily, we have to start with gun mechanics. And I must say, for me, this is where Destiny shines bright. You get that Halo feeling when you pick up the sniper rifle. They kind of managed to tweak it enough that it feels even tighter than Halo, in my opinion. I love the shooting. The weight of the weapons is great. Every hit just feels so satisfying, especially getting the headshots on the Vandals. It's just awesome. I thought the melee was overpowered when I first played beta. I chose a hunter in beta, and I'm playing a hunter now, and the knife just felt really overpowered. Nothing much has changed, now that the game's launched. But now that I'm kind of exploring the higher levels, I kind of see why it's like that. At first, it's overpowered, then it becomes kind of more balanced when you engage with the harder enemies. My personal loadout is a pulse rifle, sniper rifle, light machine gun, and occasionally dabbling in rocket launcher territory. I don't really fuck around with that stuff, but alright, seeing as Destiny is this huge, expansive world, according to Bungie, let's discuss this world and the storyline that comes along with it. The game is super linear. I don't care. You guys can say it's an MMO all you want. It is not. It is super linear. There's really not much to do outside of the typical, kill things and pick up temper cloth, or, the classic deploy a ghost and defend against waves of enemies. That's basically it. There is no unique storyline quest. There's nothing. There was a quest where I had to run up on a satellite and sit on a spot, and I had to scout the area, and literally I didn't even have to look around with a binocular, nothing. I just sat there, and it just counted from 0% to 100. It's just fucking boring. The storyline, I have no clue what's going on. I know I woke up between a bunch of rusty cars, and that is it. With a few cutscenes showing limited story, and most of the story being explained during load screens from Tyrion Lannister in robot voice. I just don't care. I don't care about anything going on in this world. And I started this game comparing it to Mass Effect. I'm going off on a tangent here. I compare it to Mass Effect, and I also I get a lot of Borderlands feel from this game, and I just think that Mass Effect and Borderlands did what they did right, and Destiny's, I shouldn't say stole, but there's definitely some influences, and I just don't think that they hit the mark on that. Mass Effect, great story. You could shoot, you could choose quest lines, and all that, and you could kind of tell your own story. And Destiny, there's no options for that so far. Anyway, I mean, I think I'm about halfway through the game already. There's nothing like that. Borderlands, huge expansive world. Yeah, it was linear, but you could choose to go from this world to this world and this world. And yeah, you can do that in Destiny, but you're very limited because of the levels. If you're trying to fight things 3 levels above you, you're fucked. You are going to lose 3 or 4 levels. Of course, if you have a full fire team, it might even the odds a bit, but I've been playing co-op with one of my buddies. We're kind of a 2-man squad, and there have been a few times where it's literally impossible. So you have to scale it back. So yeah, I just think comparing it to those games did what they did right, and Destiny it's just not there. If my character were to die at the end of Destiny, I wouldn't even care. Compare that to Halo even. John 1, he dies, everyone fucking loses their mind. So, the story's very lackluster. There's no edge of my seat moments. The live action trailer was probably the most action you're ever going to see out of a cutscene from this game. Yeah, it's just boring. And of course, it wouldn't be an MMO without character customization. And here's where I feel conflicted. It's weird. On one hand, I enjoy the amount of leveling that your character can do. It's the perfect amount of progression. You know, you choose skills, you get a subclass unlocked at level 15. It's really good. It's really well balanced as well. On the other hand, the physical character customization is a joke. Borderlands does weapons better, and any other MMO in the market does character customization better. And seeing as you only really see about 5 other people in an instance at a time, I think at the max in my area, maybe 6 or 7, it wouldn't be that difficult on next-gen consoles even to render really unique characters. Give us the tools. It shouldn't be that hard at this point in the game. That's just my opinion. You can hear my voice is really hoarse. I've been drinking Red Bulls and playing Destiny like a madman, so I apologize for that. The competitive multiplayer is really unbalanced at the start. Sometimes I felt the gear didn't really match up of who I was competing against, and I kind of felt like I was being overrun by higher tier players. The more I played, yeah, there are opportunities for kills, but if you were not at that, that enemy's level, it kind of feels like they're overpowered. And I don't know if that's what they were going for. It kind of keeps you playing. You want to get to that point. I can see that. In a typical MMO setting, we'll take World of Warcraft for example. Levels 1 to 10, we're in a bracket. You never played PvP against a level 70 being a level 1. And then level 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and so on and so forth. So if if this game could do, let's say, level 1 to 5 players compete against each other, and say even 6 to 14, then they're in a bracket. And that way, the actual skill and gear of the enemies it's just a little bit more equal. And I've been hearing a lot about people complaining about the multiplayer on the multiplayer balance issues. Sorry, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. I think they could have handled that a lot better than they did, especially coming from Halo. You guys know what it's like. You guys know multiplayer, and I don't see it here. I don't know what went on, in the developers' offices. I don't get it. Plus, playing competitive on some maps at 30 frames a second is fucking terrible. It's so hard to hit guys moving that fast when the frame rate dips because 2 or 3 people are throwing grenades. It just shouldn't be an issue at this point. We're next gen. I'm playing on the Xbox One. I think PS4 also runs at 30 frames a second. It shouldn't happen. If you have to, I know they were bragging about being 1080p at launch. If you have to go 1080p and sacrifice frames per second, I don't think that's the right choice. I think if you could drop that to 720 and maybe even push it to say fucking 50 frames or something better than what it is, because sometimes it's fucking impossible. The graphics, at least to my concerns, they're great, no questions. The game is absolutely gorgeous. Now, here comes my biggest fucking gripe about the entire experience of Destiny so far, and that's the repetition. I come from an MMO background. I've played 4 or 5 years of World of Warcraft. I just started playing WildStar a couple months ago and I grinded to 50. I know grinding, and I understand grinding. I really do. The fact that I constantly return to the exact same area to do multiple quests is fucking ridiculous. On top of the fact that most of the enemies I encounter are the same every time. You walk into a temple, Thrall, Invisible Thrall, Vandal, Knight, Witch, Stealth guys, boss. Every fucking time. I got to a point in the story where I saw ogres, and those are the big kind of brute and middle class guys. I wasn't even excited because it's just a bigger enemy. There's nothing exciting about it at all. There was that one mission where you had to steal the sword and kill the 3 princes. The princes are they look like big knights, and they have a lot of health, so it's just kiting around. There's just no interesting mechanics. You just pew, 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 kill, and then even you usually say loot, but it's not even that. You just run over glowing shit on the ground and move on to the next. I got to the point, those purple electrode looking fucks, it's not interesting to kill them. You just shoot at their eye. Like, I don't know. I thought the Flood and the Covenant were interesting characters. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really fucking repetitious. And I knew it was going to be that way ever since I played the beta. Because you play the beta, you start off in that one area, and you go down, you know, when the screaming guy, you're in the dark and you have the flashlight on, and the screaming guys are yelling, and then they start rushing you. That's intense. Because it's just like, holy shit. And then 2 missions later, you enter the exact same place. And you do the exact same thing, except they don't rush you. It's just you're in the dark and you're shooting things. And then 2 missions later, you go and do it again. And I played that in the beta, and I like, what the fuck is going on? How many times do I have to fucking go back here for the same shit? Go back, deploy Ghost, defend against waves. Go back, deploy Ghost, defend against waves. Go back, deploy Ghost, defend against waves, boss fight. Like, are you fucking serious? There's just nothing that's drawing me into the world. The only enjoyment I'm getting out of playing the game is playing it with a co-op partner, because we fuck around sometimes, and as you guys will see in some of the videos I'm going to release, we fuck around and we make the game interesting for ourselves. That shouldn't be how it is. You know, when you play games like Far Cry and Gears of War and Halo, the game should draw you guys into the, you know, we beat Halo on Legendary, me and Scythex, and it was awesome. It was a challenge, and it just drew us in, and that was the thing. I don't know how to explain it, but there was just something about Halo that maybe it was the world and the story was really good. But this just doesn't have that fucking thrill for me. I just don't think it's that good. Me and Scythex were talking about kind of arbitrary number scores, and I asked him what he would give it, and you know, he said he doesn't know. What would I give it? And I said, I mean, if I were to put a number on it, I would give it a 7, maybe a 6.5. It's a rent for me for sure. If people still rent games, I don't know. I know in our town, all the stores where you rent games are gone, but it's not worth $60. It's just not. And actually, the prices here went up in Canada, so it cost me $75, and it's just not worth it. It is not. I don't see myself playing this long term. Now, I mean, of course, if you guys are enjoying it, of course it's worth it for you. But for me, I feel kind of like there was a lot of marketing involved, and I didn't follow the marketing this one. I learned my lesson from Titanfall. That was another game that came out with just a lot of lackluster features. 5 multiplayer game modes, but the gameplay and the shooting again was amazing. That game did so much for FPS that it was just sad to see that they didn't offer anything else. And that's the same here. The shooting is so great and the gameplay is so great, but there's like 7 enemies and you constantly go back to the same places, especially at the beginning. The beginning is where you need to draw your players in. You need to have people, holy shit moments. You need to have those at the beginning to suck people in. The game needs to be fun from beginning to end. And I understand that is difficult because you guys want to squeeze as much content into it as possible. I was reading reports online that this game's going to take around 20 hours. I could see that with how many times you have to go back to the same places to do the same things. There's just not a lot of, intense moments. The one at the very beginning, and then that's it. It's all downhill for me from there. That's my opinion. I haven't got to endgame yet. I'm really worried about rating, because if it's anything like that Prince quest where you basically just kite the guys around and pew pew pew, no. There needs to be mechanics. Me and Scythex were talking. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I usually have my ideas written down, but I'm going off. We were talking about mechanics in the raiding, or even, in the world, if you had like little mini dungeons or whatever. And we were talking about the Prince boss. There were huge chains in the middle of the room. And we said, what if he had a sword and you had to like drag him over and make him swing to break the chains?
and
that's fucking awesome. That's like a boss mechanic. In any other, like I could see that being in like Dante's Inferno or whatever, or Devil May Cry. But there's just nothing. It's just you jump from this place to this place and you shoot at him until he's dead, and that's it. I'm talking in circles now, so I'm going to end this video. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments. Get me on Twitter. If you guys are following us on Twitter, we're doing the Digital Fire podcast. You can get us using the hashtag Digital Fire. Please check it out. It is a good discussion on video games and H-Hour and the SOCOM series, if you guys know, old school tactical / kind of arcade shooters. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think of Destiny if you're playing it, or if you're playing that piece of shit NHL 15 that was just released. Let me know. Yeah, that's about it.